2. The interesting thing about
Let's
said
go.
draft, this is something I've seen every other region except South America. Every game, well, maybe North America as well, but every game involves IO. This is one of the first IOs I've seen here. And I'm terrified, if I'm honest. IO Mars, I don't want to play against IO Mars if I'm NoPing right now. I'm already like, oh god, this looks very scary.
I mean, it does, but I also, this is a very different play style, and that's like what scares me, right? I talked about my feeling with Wolf Team is they actually play their lanes really well, much better than a Division 2 team would play. But their problem is macro-wise and just like being patient with the way that they high ground and stuff like that. When you play a pushing draft, that is like the best way for a team like Wolf Team to do well, in my opinion. You just get a good early advantage. You don't bullshit. You don't farm too much. You just go. With IO, there's way more nuance. There's way more room for outplay, but also to kind of not play well. So I understand and I agree that IO is a really good hero, but I'm not sure it fits Wolf Team really well. We'll see if they disprove me, because they already did it once. So I have a tendency of looking like a fool when I harp too much on one issue.
But actually, that is a very good point, though, that there are certain heroes in the game that sort of necessitate a different playstyle. And IO, certainly one of those. It's not just one player has to play well with the IO. The entire team has to play well around the IO. We'll see what they're able to do with this one. On the other side, for NoPing, now, IO requires you to play this very cerebral game, best understand the map, you need good vision. Pango doesn't need any of that shit, man. Much easier, much more straightforward style here. And of course, for Sexy Fat, it also means that even if he doesn't have the best start to the game, doesn't get a super early blink, for example, like he failed to do in the last game, he can still participate in these fights just by using the ultimate any given time that he sees the relocate come in.
It could also be a suits hero, Pango. Definitely one of the best heroes right now because it's so flexible. And one big victory that we can already see from Wolf Team here is that they didn't ban the Kato, and doesn't feel like NoPing is in any rush to pick it as well, because they're like, yeah, you're a Kato. We were not impressed by it. You guys didn't really play that well, and that's a big victory because it means that they can ban other stuff like this Lina. That is definitely a staple for RDO. I think he looked really well playing the Lina, and also I hear that Suits could play as well.
Yeah, Suits can definitely make a huge impact here if he does decide to play this hero into the mid lane. Haven't seen that hero be crazy versatile. Very excited to see what direction they go with in this draft. We see bans here on the Faceless Void as well as the Puck, so NoPing certainly looking at this as well. If you're playing against a team that will initiate globally across the map, let's remove big spells that allow you to just keep us in place for way too long. I'm still not exactly clear where their draft is going fully. That's the one thing that does kind of suck though, right, Bowie, about picking the IO early. It does make it a bit apparent about what the overall strategy is going to be. It just depends on what heroes you're actually going to go into it. But NoPing, a bit more versatility. Speaking of versatility, I've been seeing more and more Shadow Demon being played in the 4 position. Does Audio play 4 position Shadow Demon?
Yeah, I would suppose so, but I feel like Duster is the one that's going to play it. And you talked about heroes, the fact that IO is a little bit predictable. I find it very odd that NoPing didn't ban that Luna, because we know it's a staple of HFN. Yeah. It is a really good hero with IO. Nothing really stops them from picking it right now. They don't. But instead they get this Ogre, probably going to be a 5 Ogre. Whoever HFN's playing, it's going to feel really good, right? You have this Bloodlust and the Feather with the extra attack speed.
It actually feels like it's screaming Luna, honestly, like with the way the draft is stacking up right now. So it's very weird that NoPing haven't addressed that just yet. Might be the case that they have some ideas with these upcoming picks. We'll see what they decide to do to try and help themselves out in the laning phase. The one thing about having heroes like IO and the Ogre Magi is, sure, the laning prowess is there, the protection is there, but you don't always get the maximum aggression out of these heroes. Sure, IO will be great with the Mars, but now I think it makes it a lot easier to justify putting this Pango off lane. Ember Spirit will emerge now for Suits mid. They banned it out last time around. He decides to go for it now. I mean, of course, I can understand why you do this, right? The Root versus IO is way too good to ignore in a game like this.
Yep, it's definitely good. Could also... There are a lot of SA teams playing Ember 4, and Ember carry is now kind of common, so I'm not 100% sure it's going to be Suits hero, but regardless, I think Ember is definitely like one of the best heroes right now. I'm happy that NoPing goes for it. One thing that we have to be careful about is that NoPing, they don't have last pick this time, so there's a decent chance, especially considering they already went for IO Ogre, that they want to give HFN the win condition, which was definitely not the case last game where he was playing Luna versus TB. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Wolf Team just getting the 4DR hero next. But yeah, I guess they get Bane now, so probably going to be a Shadow Demon for RDO and Ember being played as a mid. So no flexes here, very straightforward, very predictable draft coming from NoPing.
Yep, very straightforward. Some decent team fight, BKB piercing disable, some decent damage in the magic department, just lacking in the physical damage output, but they'll certainly try to address that in the last pick here for Melancholy down the line. For Wolf Team, what is the option? I think right now you're definitely right that since they have last pick, it's probably better to reserve that for HFN. There's a bit of worry about the fact that since it's only carry picks for at the very end, there's going to be a suite of bans making it difficult to pick exactly what you want. So that's probably the conversation they're having right now. How risky is it to wait for the last pick and induce a sort of banning frenzy, or do we let Tavo be the one to take the last pick? Tavo, I mean, this could be, is this Tavo going to be playing off lane on a different hero, or is this off lane Mars? For some reason, the last few times I've seen this Mars, I've always seen him mid, but I just realized that that's probably not going to be the case here, and they'll need a different hero for 40R as they pick up now the Medusa. This hero has, honestly, I don't understand how it's not banned more often. This hero's looked so good in the games I've been seeing it lately.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really strong hero overall. Like, he does well in lane. It has really good matchups. It has good timings. Like, it's one of the few heroes where you have like a good early spike, power spike in the early game, in the mid game, in the late game. It's an odd hero, and it works really well in these competitive matches. And the Mars, actually, I think I said something really stupid. There's not a lot of incentive for them to pick the 40R hero fourth pick here because they would lose the flex of this Mars pick. Your question on whether it's going to be offlane or mid is also in NoPing's mind, and they actually benefit from last picking because they have overall last pick, and it allows them to decide later whether they want to play offlane or mid because 4DR definitely plays mid Mars. He loves that hero.
We see NoPing deciding now to ban out the Queen of Pain as Wolf Team. All they have to do is protect this Medusa. PL going to be the first one taken out in that banning route. For NoPing, what do they need to solve here? They need some physical damage output. They need a hero that can scale. They need a hero that's also capable of fighting at a decent timing. We do not want to see just a massive farm fest from Melancholy again. And you do not want to play into Mars, Ogre, these sorts of heroes that not buy a BKB. So we need someone who can carry this sort of item. What's left in the pool here that feels nice for them to put into the safe lane for Melancholy? I guess they can still play TB again if they want to. Luna's still here. Razor is a carry that we've seen often being picked up into the Medusa. I'm not sure if he plays these more anti-carries though for Melancholy.
Yeah. TB is fine. It's definitely not as good as it is against Luna, but I think this time NoPing, like, all of their heroes are way less greedy than they were in game one. So I think they can go full greed on NoPing, especially because they already know the carry matchup. What you have to be careful about is not end up in a bad laning stage where like you go something like Ursa on NoPing, that is actually a really good matchup for Medusa, and you end up against a Venomancer because they do have that flex in the off lane, and there's definitely a couple of heroes that can just crush Ursa or these timing specific heroes in the safe lane. So that's really the struggle. I think there is a decent amount of picks NoPing can go, but you have to be very careful about whatever it is that Wolf Team will last pick.
Options are abounding. They banned the Monkey King. What's left here? Anti-Mage is still in the game. I've seen some very poor players, and by poor I mean they always lose when they do it, pick up the Bloodseeker to try and accelerate timings. I'm not really a fan, of course. Not a lot of time remaining here for the side of NoPing, but like you said, they certainly can decide to sort of greed this one out, having a lot of fighting prowess with the other four, being capable of moving quite quickly across the map, especially considering the fact that Wolf Team right now only have a solitary BKB buyer in the Mars. We do not know what's going to be the 40R hero just yet, but it does mean that NoPing will be certain that throughout the mid game they can actually kill some of these heroes. What's going to be the option here? Melancholy plays the Drow Ranger here. Okay. All right. What do you make of this, Bowie? Drow. I haven't actually seen Drow at all in the DPC this particular patch.
Ooh,
So I don't know how I feel about the Drow, especially since now we see a Storm Spirit emerging for 40R.
It is a good match for Medusa. It lanes well versus Mars, but once Storm has enough items, and also when Tavo gets Blink, but also when Io has Relocate, you fear so much for your life as Drow. They have a lot of gap close. So if Wolf Team plays properly, if they actually just try to make Melancholy's life hell, this game could be really hard because they have no saves. I mean, sure, you have Nightmare, which is kind of like a fourth of a save. You have Disruption that is like half a save, so maybe together that's 3/4 of a save. Still not good enough, I think, considering how much gap close they have on Wolf Team. So it's really going to be about... this is a total different game, I think. Wolf Team, their timing is much, much later on. I don't think this is going to be a game that ends in 30 seconds on both sides. Maybe if NoPing actually stomps the lanes. But if Wolf Team wins this game convincingly, this is a huge sign, a huge positive sign for Wolf Team fans, because it means that they're not a one-trick pony. Because it felt like that in game one, where you just go, you don't even wait for second ages to get the first lane of barracks. If they win right now, I'm going to be convinced that there's still a chance for Wolf Team to go to Division 1. Because that is totally different. This Deuce is going to farm for a little bit more. You're going to see 4DR like ganking with this Ogre and the Mars. We'll see what happens. But NoPing's draft, I think it's fine. The Drow Ranger still a win condition on the Dusa. But yeah, she can. This could be one of those games where the Drow is 1-5 and just crying in the corner.
I find it quite intriguing that Wolf Team have gone in for this kind of draft here. And one thing I like about it is, like you mentioned, they excel putting the timing a little bit later into the game. I was just taking a quick look at how long their previous games have been, and they generally the faster the game, it seems they tend to lose. So Wolf Team have sort of made sure that they're covering themselves in that regard as well. I'm very excited to see how this is going to pan out. But for NoPing, I need y'all to perform, because as much as I like what I'm seeing from Wolf Team, I want to see game 3. So NoPing, Sexy Fed, come on fam. Pull out some massive Pango plays. In China, we consider this hero to be kind of broken. So please do the right thing. Win the game for us. Take us to a game 3. But if that doesn't happen, you were saying it right now, Bowie. Not only is Wolf Team feeling confident about their prospects going forward, not only would they feel great about their points, but if you can beat NoPing, honestly, I feel like that's it, right? It's going to be NoPing, Wolf Team probably getting promoted. If not, things get more interesting. But I hope it's the case. Something else that's quite interesting, as we have a pause at the beginning of the game here. Would you believe me if I told you that right now, at this exact moment in time, there are 5 teams all tied at 4th place in the bracket, and this game actually is what's going to break that deadlock, dude.
Yeah, I did see that. It's crazy. Division 2 SA is always like that. Like, you rarely... Sometimes you have a clear winner, but still, like, that second place fight becomes a huge mess, because everyone, is trying their hardest. They definitely want to get promoted. So this is super hype. Probably, I mean, as I said, I am biased because I'm Brazilian, but one of the hypest matches of this entire season, especially because, as you pointed out as well, if Wolf Team loses this series, it gets almost impossible for them to qualify to Division 1. I don't want to say impossible, but it's, in the 0.1% realm for sure.
They will be the first team to have ever lost more than twice if they get promoted to Division 1. So, I mean, stranger things have happened in Dota 2, but history is often a good indicator of the future for a reason. So we'll see how this one pans out. A little bit more stress onto NoPing, of course, because they do not want to go down 2-0. I mean, we've been talking about what this could mean for NoPing's, or for Wolf Team's confidence. What would it mean for NoPing if they have come so far, 3 clean games, 2-0ing everybody, but then they suddenly fall down 2-0 themselves against an inconsistent team? Will that knock them back a little bit on the side of NoPing in terms of their own mentality?
It's possible, dude. It's really possible. I think more than any region, South America is definitely a region that thrives on, past performance, on this like hype, momentum, as people like to say. So it is definitely possible, and it will be a test for them, right? Because if they can actually bounce back, even if they do lose, I'm not saying it's going to happen. If you do bounce back, it's a good sign for the team because it means that you can actually learn from your losses instead of take them as a ego heat or something like that. You know, don't find who to blame, but yourself, and always strive to be better next game. That's how champions are born.
What? No, my friend. Blame the guy next to me. That's who I'm blaming. You know? I'm not taking the blame alone. Blame everybody else. Bottom lane. Something that is going to be nice in this game for NoPing. You have audio with this disruption. Even if it's not going to be a save mechanism, at the very least, it gives you a free Medusa throughout the game when she starts to get stronger and stronger. Although she's kind of weak right now, so it doesn't really do anything for you at this point in time.
Another lane that, you know, we already see Sexy Fat just taking a beating in. And they actually, one thing we didn't mention, Ogre is bottom. So even though this is a 4 Ogre, they decide on this guy. And this is a really good lane. I think it's, you know, usually as a range core, you want that beefy wall to allow you to actually hit and allow you to be safe. Yeah. And that's a good choice. I think the Iodusa wouldn't be strong at all.
Yep, instead they're going to give it a much stronger lane with the Io Mars coming out into the top lane. We've seen this lane exert quite a bit of dominance in the past. You know, generally speaking, Mars, the only drawback of this hero in the laning phase is the sustain. That's not going to be a problem for him here. Misses on the Guard's Rebuke though, so they don't get the full slow out onto Duster. But who really cares? Just want to make sure that they can maintain presence in the lane, and that's certainly going to be something they can do. And it kind of sucks, right, that NoPing have a literally no kill threat up in this top lane. Like, how do you even get anything going here as a Bane Drow Ranger? All you can just do is get your farm for Melancholy.
Yeah, you can definitely peel a lot, right? You have this Duster Bane taking a lot of damage and healing back up from the Brain Sap. But unlikely that we'll see a kill here. I think AJ would have to probably misplay. On the bottom side though, there's definitely a lot of room for kills. If Kingard goes for pull, if HFN is isolated, there's a lot of gap close and a lot of burst damage coming from that Shadow Poison with the Disruption lockdown.
Yeah, can certainly make things happen in this bottom lane. Sexy Fat already having a much better start than he did last time around though. Things looking quite decent. Mid lane though, the one lane we haven't looked at just yet, the brothers playing up against each other, Ember versus Storm Spirit. There was a point in time where Storm was the little brother in this matchup, but as time has gone on, it feels like Storm Spirit just been slowly but surely becoming the real big boss of all the Spirit heroes, maybe with the sole exception of Earth Spirit, but you know, they don't really occupy the same role in the game. This lane right now looking very, very good for 40R. Is it a similar thing, what we saw last game, where he probably just got some very good pulls off, or is Storm Spirit really that much further ahead than Ember in this matchup? I mean, they even had to change the Flame Guard timing just to make this matchup possible for Ember to play.
Yeah, I mean, Storm's just kinda broken, you know. The hero is super good in lane, just does everything, doesn't need to go for greedy items anymore because of the no talisman changes. But yeah, he might have farmed like one camp spot, and Ember, obviously, because he needs to use Flame Guard in the lane, can't really farm the small camp as fast as the Storm can.
Yeah. It's a bit annoying to have to play it in that way, but it is what it is, the nature of Dota 2. Going for that early Orbo Corrosion suits is. This game, I would definitely like to see him also playing very quickly with his team, but they have the capability to do so quite well. Bottom lane, Sexy Fat almost died. They end up being able to save him though. The help from Audio comes in with the disruption. HFN even tips him. Says, shout out fam. You made sure Sexy Fat's actually going to have a game of Dota 2 this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking really good. All of the lanes with DCS advantage for Wolf Team. Sexy Fat definitely behind the Mars. He's like the lowest net CS in comparison to that Mars that is occupying the first position. So really good lanes from Wolf Team. Oh! I jinxed it. There you go. That's how you do it.
Say cheese for the camera, says Sexy Fat. Pulls up, gets a quick kill out onto both the Medusa and the Ogre Magi there. Nicely done. That was all down to Audio. Audio, please, somebody tip him again. I mean, I feel like I would tip them back. It's like, oh, y'all thought you tipped me then? No, trust me. The big play is coming right now. Gets off a massive amount of damage with the Shadow Poison. Cleaned up by a Sexy Fat, and just a second ago, he wasn't looking that great in net worth. You know, his CS wasn't that hot, and his CS still isn't that hot, but being able to participate in 2 kills and getting the first blood, it's fine. I'll take a poor lady in exchange for that any day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely revives his laning stage. He's pretty much tied up in net worth with the Dusa right now, and it's all about the experience as well. There's going to be a lot of momentum. He was able to deny an entire wave because as he got that double kill, he was pulling the wave on that large camp as well, so HFN even lost a little bit of the possible farm he could get. Just really great. Also an overextension from HFN. He even said sorry as he died there with Chad Will.
You know, I always talk about how Dota 2 is a game of margins, and that's one of these situations, right, where had that not happened, it's looking like one of these games where Sexy Fat's gonna struggle a little bit at the beginning once more. But because of it happened, suddenly the entire laning phase is different. Potentially the first few rotations are quite different as well. Sexy Fat gets himself close to level 5 now, and this entire game might be switched on its head by just one passage of play. Also slows down HFN quite a lot, like you mentioned, not just in the lane, but with those additional pulls. I mean, to be fair, this is Medusa, so won't really expecting her to be out to the races anyway all that much, so it's fine, whatever. She'll be fine. Sexy Fat, though, is the one that's very happy about this. Now with the Ring of Health, you can probably start sending away Audio on a bit more adventures and say, mate, I'll be okay if I have Swashbuckle. And indeed, we already see this being the case. He's laying out some vision in the Radiant jungle. They know that at some point Medusa's going to head into that jungle, and they have the kind of heroes, Bowie, that they can jump in and catch her while she's trying to farm that area.
That's really the scary part. He is doing, you know, he's the most farm carry on the side of NoPing right now, so maybe the least likely to get killed in terms of having items and levels. But yeah, as this game progresses and we see that Io getting more experience, and he's doing really well, level 4.5 on KJ, just contesting pulls from Duster left and right. That's where things start to get really scary. The Storm Spirit being able to rotate and just force fights, and you know, there's not that much of a response. The Nightmare doesn't buy enough time, unfortunately.
Yep. I am very much looking forward to seeing where they go in the first rotation on the side of Wolf Team. But speaking of rotations, one is coming in from 40R. The Storm Spirit has cracked level 7. The usual timing for a Spirit of his ilk to rotate. And we'll see what they're able to find here. Suits, though, in the meantime, finds an Invis Rune, bottles it up. Not going to try and make use of it just yet. Okay, 40R, they see that the movement on this Bane Elemental is not really conducive to a gank, so he'll just claim the Bounty Rune, back off, go back to farming. I mean, no reason not to do this, right? You already know you're having a decent time against this Ember Spirit. You're going to be out farming him anyway, so you don't need to force the envelope, especially like you mentioned in the earlier portion of the panel where they have a much later timing. They don't have to rush the game, so no need to take these big risks.
Yep. Also, just because he left vision, you know, he was farming that camp. He got a bounty. The Drow had to walk from tier 1 to all the way to tier 2 and then farm that camp. So Melancholy lost a lot of farm, lost a lot of, you know, creep wave and experience while he was farming. So just really good. And Duster, he might just die.
Well, sometimes here, Bowie, you don't go to the kill comes to you. And 40R will be very happy about this. Getting some bonus gold in the back pocket. This should start the build up into BKB. He's gonna go Orchid. Wow! This is a blast from the past. Orchid Rush Storm Spirit, man. First and foremost. I mean, normally there's a good reason why this has fallen out of favor, but this looks like one of those incredible games where if you get an early Orchid, they're kind of screwed on the side of NoPing.
Yep. I think he just rushed BKB that game because, you know, they were under a lot of pressure, and there was also the Clotto to help with the mana. In this case, he would feel you don't want to rush BKB. It's really something that you do out of necessity. And this time, you get those triple no talismans. That's going to be a really good help in terms of mana, and getting the Orchid to kill, to make sure there's not going to be a save, there's not going to be a Fiend's Grip. It's a good item if you can farm it, and they do have that gold advantage. We see the tower top falling. Once again, this is not even like a pushing strat from team, but they win the lanes just a little bit harder, they move just a little bit quicker, and it might buy time for them to defend this bottom tower. Like, they do have the mobile heroes to do so in case they want to.
Like you mentioned, they won the lane, and that movement that came in from the Storm Spirit that forced Drow away from the lane makes it a lot easier for the push. But speaking of the Drow, she's getting jumped on right now by 40R. She will survive by being able to TP to safety. However, that does require her to flee here. Audio and Duster in the vicinity, but the cores are down bottom, trying to push the tier 1, so there's no possibility of getting that Storm Spirit kill. It takes them quite a while, you know, not the easiest push. Unfortunately for NoPing, only really this Drow hits rolling, so without her, very slow push, but they get it eventually. Also, what was happening is that HFN left. He's already chilling in the triangle now. this is where it starts to get scary. In the next like 5-10 minutes, I would love to see NoPing try to present some kind of jump. Not necessarily onto the Medusa, but understanding that the Medusa will be in this farm route, trying to force fights elsewhere on the map and utilize the numbers advantage. But it's a bit rough when you don't necessarily feel like this Drow Ranger can actually show up anywhere right now.
Yeah. It's rough. I think they definitely need to start making moves. They have the Rolling Thunder. They have Ember level 6. But, you know, that is one of the problems of Ember. Unlike Storm, where you can just rotate freely, you do want to get that Maelstrom. Sure, you don't have to, but it's not like they have that much damage. Again, you have two supports that have some sort of control, but they don't have that much damage. You know, Shadow Demon before level 6 actually lacks a lot in damage. The reach on Disruption isn't that big. So you're in this position where you have, theoretically, the heroes to rotate, but until you have 6 on RDO, it's not gonna work. So I think he might get it out of this stacks that he did to Melancholy. But, you know, I think they have everything they need again on Wolf Team. Very impressive.
Wolf Team top lane suits. Does he have a Remnant down? He has one expiring though. Needs to be a little bit careful here. Okay, he should be fine. Zips away. Goes back into a safe spot to keep farming up for this Maelstrom, but like you mentioned, they have everything they need. And once again, though, I'm a bit perplexed by the support on the side of NoPing because they sort of occupy the same role here, Bowie, between the Duster, Bane Elemental, and the RDO Shadow Demon. They don't have the same dynamism as, say, this Io can provide to the side of Wolf Team, and he's going to relocate, bring 40R home to just top him up. I mean, okay, not sure that was necessary, but cool. Why not take the Uber? Why walk when you can just get an express ride to and fro the lanes?
You know, it's just the VIP treatment 40R deserves. He's like, man, you played so well last game. I'll just give you a treat, you know? It's not like they're in a rush. We talked about the fact that as long as HFN is farming, like, Drowder has definitely a timing on Dusa, but it's not a super late game one, in my opinion. So, Wolf Team is fine, just chilling the way they are. Suits?
Fight is not a good one. Suits falling very, very low. 40R scouts him. Might jump, but Duster creating the space with this Nightmare. But unfortunately, Tabo jumps in to reveal the Blink Dagger. God Rebuke gets the kill. Trying to run down for Audio. In the meantime, Sexy Fat almost killed 40R, but instead 40R jumps onto Duster to bring him down. They allow this Shadow Demon to die on the far eastern part of the fight so they can turn their attention back towards the Pango. Fourth hero about to fall. The Spear of Moth pushes him back. HFN right-clicks him down. That's 4 heroes that died. All of this was a conflict over a rune that NoPing will deeply regret going for. Sure, the Drow Ranger survives, but everybody from Wolf Team involved. And they managed to take the fight and the tier 1 here, Bowie. This is going from bad to worse in a hurry. It's a 5k gold lead for the Wolf Team in the first 13 minutes of this game.
That's such a weird... Like, I was like... Okay, this Bane is using Fiend's Grip against a Dusa that has ult. Then I clicked on HFN and he has no ult at level 11. And he gets a full duration Fiend's Grip and they get no kills. There was no relocate because we talked about the fact that they use relocate top. And still Wolf Team wins the fight just because Drow is afraid to join fights. She's not super strong. And there's two supports on NoPing. Once again, two range supports that just don't work that well together. They have this lack of damage and lack of control at the same time, right? Like the control that Shadow Demon offers with the disruption doesn't allow you to really do that much damage, and the Ember control, like this is only level 2 Searing Chains. He's farming this Maelstrom. It feels like all of their timings don't align in a meaningful way, and Wolf Team is just getting away with murder because they won the lanes a little bit harder.
Murder indeed is what we saw happening there, and this is really bad for Suits as well, because not only was that a death, I believe at the time that he died he was at like 13 or 1400 gold, so not that far away from getting the full Maelstrom. Now he's been set back quite a bit, and this is one of these heroes where when you start getting set back, it's not as bad as the Void Spirit when you start falling behind on items, but my god, you do not feel good about your prospects. You need so many items now to try and recover the game. This BKB needs to come as soon as possible, especially because Storm Spirit about to finish the full Orchid here. Oh, wait, did he change his mind from Orchid? No, he still has the...
Yeah.
It looks like he changed his mind.
I think he's going for... Where's his career? God damn.
That's what I'm actually looking for.
Did he lose his career? Is his career dead?
What is his career? Alright. We need to hunt this bad boy down. Alright, I see Medusa's career, Olga's career.
No, it's dead, I think.
but it doesn't show it being
Oh,
on
no, no.
Esports. We'll talk about it in a second, as they have a relocate going down bottom. Tavo initiated already with the huge arena. They only bring down Duster. Sexy Fat fortunately has access to a Rolling Thunder to get himself out of here. But this is not a great look when the Rolling Thunders are being used almost exclusively in defensive fashion like that. Haven't necessarily seen them be able to engage that spell offensively. Hell, even this usage here that we saw near the tier 1, he was trying to run away. This, not good. Without Rolling Thunder, I mean, it's not the longest cooldown in the world, but they certainly cannot play aggressively without it whatsoever. So you're just back to farming, I guess. And Bowie, is there ever a universe where if you're playing a farm game... Hey, there it is. Okay, I didn't see it. Is there ever a universe where if you played a farm game, Drow versus Medusa, that Drow ever wins?
I mean, sure. This far behind the 14 minutes, definitely harder. I think that, you know, Drow, especially in a game like this, it's not only like about, like the Dusa Drow match is sure is favored for the Drow, but then you have Iomar Storm just hunting you. You have no real saves and no other hero that's like creating space for the Drow. Like you have this Ember with Maelstrom that also farms. It feels like very similar. Okay, top lane. That's a dead RDO.
Bye. 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 Sorry to be you, fam. At the very least, they do kill KJ, but who cares? 40R just cares about being able to involve in another kill. Bringing down the IO doesn't really change all that much for NoPing. They can't do anything on the map off the back of this kill. Erstwhile 40R still forcing out and shoving in this lane. It'll get close enough to the tier 2 tower that the Siege Dragon will indeed be able to dish out damage, while the rest of the team is sort of in the vicinity down bottom, so Melancholy can't really put the pressure in the opposite direction. They in fact see him. They see him going forward. 40R's coming in. They want to try and find this fight. Long range zip, baby. 40R used all of his mana to get here. Can't get any closer. Oh, nice usage of the gust, but the arena. Oh no, the time it takes him to get off the gust opens up space for Tavo to find the arena. They get the catch. HFN was hoping to run him down with the Stone Gaze, but now he's like, hey, thanks for saving me the cooldown, fam. We got the kill anyway.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, Storm can completely miss his zip, and you still have like an Io relocating to give him mana. You have Tavo jumping from the other side of the map. It's such a hard Drow game, regardless of the matchup against the carry. It's one of those, like, you know, the carry to carry matchup is important, but Dota is so much more complicated than that, and you can see it clearly here. This is rough, man. Now they have to farm these BKBs on the Ember. There's like no initiation item on the Pangolier. He has a is it a blink dagger flying to him? Okay. All right, he has a blink. Where's the damage though? They don't have damage. It's really hard for them to take any fights, to choose where they want to fight.
Dude, I want to make it even worse for you right now. Check this out. Right after the Blink Dagger just got picked up by Sexy Fat, right? You know what's the worst thing that could possibly happen to an offlaner who just bought Blink? To literally walk right underneath a ward as you got the item. And they're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
We understand. Oh, and look, Duster just went into vision and he soaked under vision. It only gets worse and worse from here. Wolf team are like,
my
you should probably just walk back.
God, it's painful, man.
I've all been there, boys. We've all been there, NoPing. Well, I hope they've got
And I
some
mean, look
boards.
at RDO, dude. The carry habits are coming back. He's hiding in the trees with a Quelling Blade. He's like, okay, guys, I'm gonna farm some really good items here. I'm gonna show you guys how to carry a game. I'm joking. Obviously, like, he... Okay, they actually kill Ember, huh?
Suits? I actually don't know what happened there, but they managed to catch him and bring him down. Sexy Fat looks like he was trying to create space. Can't make it happen. That feels like... This is what's so frustrating. I think, like, RDO definitely wants to be able to get to the Aether Lens Blink Dagger. If he gets to those two items, at the very least, he can buy, like, a second of time if he can blink in the range, but that also requires you playing with the team. And unfortunately, it feels like in Game 2 here, Bowie, NoPing actually hasn't been playing together on the map at all. Everybody, there's been, like, sort of squads, 2-3 heroes playing together once in a while, but the team cohesion, I'm just not feeling it whatsoever from them.
Yeah. I don't know. In game 1, I really felt like NoPing, they lost because they didn't play well. In this game, I feel like, because like I felt like their draft was much better than what Wolf Team had. In this game, I think it's much more even, and you can see how they're snowballing much faster. So on both games, okay, Storm gets silenced.
But he's got reinforcements coming in. There's going to be the huge reload. That's one death on the Draw Ranger. Will they be able to get more? At the very least, Suits will burst down both of the Storm Spirit as well as the IO. HFN having already committed Stone Gaze won't have it available. Despite this, probably not a fight they want to keep taking on the side of NoPing. They go back onto Soothe though. Sexy Fat with the damage and the flame from Soothe. They're able to bring down the King RD Ogre. At the same time though, the right click damage from HFN takes out Audio. Ends up being a 3-for-3 engagement here. For NoPing, you know, I want to say, my heart wants to tell me that this fight actually seems okay for them. They've got some pretty decent kills. They find more gold for Soothes as well as for Sexy Fat. But I just can't in good conscience say that a fight where you lose Drow is a successful fight in a game where she is your win condition here.
Yeah, it's not terrible, but you would much rather have the Drow survive for sure. And look at the RNG right there. They get a Groove Ball, right? That's for the Drow. So that's, you know, another semblance of hope for NoPing. But they have to keep taking good fights, and you know the only reason that fight was weird is that 4DR went way too ham. He had no BKB, get silenced and killed before the IO. I guess IO was standing on the Dusa to relocate her to the fight, so there was no save. Not a mistake we're gonna see 4DR doing again, I think, especially with the way Wolf Team is playing the entire series.
Yeah, it's going straight in for the BKB right now. The next time that jump ends up happening, it will be successful. After this, I imagine it goes in for Shivas in this game. That seems to be the most sensible thing to me. Bottom lane, though. Fight might break here. And Sexy Fat and Duster, they smoked up. They come across 4DR. There's going to be a silence onto Sexy Fat. He gets himself gripped, but it doesn't matter because there's no follow-up damage from Sexy Fat. This Pango trying to get himself away. Duster saved himself for now, using some very nice nightmares, actually. Unfortunately, though, 4DR will ensure that that's going to be a death back onto him. Great reaction time from the Storm Spirit. Otherwise, he might have been in a very prickly situation. But that silence onto Sexy Fat prevents him from dying and picks up a Bane instead.
And yeah, I mean, sure, Sexy Fat survives, but you use Grip and you use Rolling Thunder. Your tier 2 towers fall in. This time, NoPing has way less means of clearing the wave. All of their heroes are worse. You had, you know, Kotl with Storm and Terrorblade. It's just not good enough this time. And the Wolf Team, they're not even forced to push. This could be how they lose though, because they are known for going a little bit too greedy, going a little bit too fast. Okay, RDO.
What audio, man? He said audio. There's no audio here. He's dead and gone.
Yeah.
Immediately afterwards, Duster will join him in the trade. Both of them will buy back to come back into the game. Suze jumping for a huge multi-shot from the Draw Ranger, and jump in from Suze enables them to kill the Storm Spirit as well as the Ogre. Stone Gaze from the HFN Medusa, buying space and time as Tavo looking for the blink play away. Will not be able to find it, but he turns instead. BKB active, God's Rebuke enables them to kill the Pangolier. And now, although they got off this huge multi-shot once more from Melancholy, HFN is now the big, bad damage monster sitting on the high ground, right-clicking through. Does cost them the life of Tavo, however. So NoPing. Ultimately, it is a 4-for-3 here. They did have to buy back on 2 heroes and die back on 1. But they dissuade Wolf Team from going into the base. You were saying it yourself. Wolf Team known for going into pushes half-cocked. Not only was that a half-cocked push, they went to the tier 4s to force a fight on that one. A bit too soon, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only problem is that 4DR died twice already with the way that he's jumping. He doesn't have his BKB, right? So jumping that way, definitely over eager on his side. Besides that, you know, Dusa survives throughout the whole thing. They force some buybacks. It's still like amazing for Wolf Team. I would just have liked 4DR to play a little bit more cautious, because that's how they could come back into this game. Just feeding off of that Storm that is super farmed. I guess not anymore, because he is now behind Suits. But overall, still looking really good.
It's kind of weird to me that they try to force that push. He was so close to getting BKB. Just like, I mean, they still have this Aegis for another minute at this point. I'm sure they could have maybe waited a minute before that push, but c'est la vie.
I mean, just take tier 2s, right? Like, first Aegis, that's their use. You get tier 2s, you control the map, you choke the enemy team so that when you get the second one, you're pushing with a 15k gold advantage. This time was a 9k gold one. So substantial. But that shard from Drow, you can already see, how strong it is. The Drow also going for the right items this time. No Dragonlance Yasha Skadi. He goes straight up BKB into disassembled Dragonlance with the shard. So much better item choices for Melancholy, which allowed them to take a good fight.
Yeah, this BKB is very, very useful. They didn't even need to use it in that fight, but better to have it than not need it. And then G need it and not have it. Did a ton of damage. We are starting to finally see the potential of what this draft can pull off. Like, if it is a bit, helpful that this fight is all happening on their own high ground, with Pango roll through, Suits going in, the Drow Ranger damage, but Melancholy showing in that fight why they picked this hero and the potential of being able to move forward with this Drow. Still quite a long way to go. HFN, certainly the net worth leader on the map for by quite some margin, 6k up on everybody chasing. Surprisingly enough, the hero that is bringing up the second position is still the Tower Mars. His early start that he had when he was dominating doesn't seem like that's changed at all. And not just in this game here, Bowie. Across both games, he's looked really, really solid here from the offlane Tavo has.
Yeah, I would agree. I think he's looking really crisp. All of the laning stages, they were getting kills. They were playing their lanes pretty well. Good rotations overall into the mid lane. He is looking really solid. And, I like this much more from Tavo, playing the bulky boys. I guess, DP is included in the bulky boy category here. Because sometimes I would see him play stuff like Necro, and I think it's a much harder hero to make it work, in the competitive scene. I think it's a little bit cheesy in some ways as well. Just having this guy that either controls or pushes really, really hard allows HFN to, farm when he wants to and team fight really well when they are ready to go.
Team fighting is going to have to be on the calendar here for NoPing. They know that there's no more Aegis available. They also see that this push is mounting from the Wolf team lineup. HFN will be able to rise this one down very, very quickly. And unfortunately, they don't have Drow Ranger set up down bottom to do the same. But they've also, here, Bowie, gotten the scan clean onto her. They smoke up immediately after taking the tower. Melancholy, if you don't BKB TP out right now, you're actually going to die. Yeah. Oh, wait. Is there a chance? There's hope that they don't die because Suits might be able to break the smoke gang. But no, Suits, come back! Come back! Okay, Suits will pop BKB. That will be a TP out. Melancholy, BKB. I think you could have just BKB TP it out. Or just TP it out instead. But either way.
Yeah. I don't know why he actually walked there to have to pop BKB for no reason. But they don't die, right? So that's a plus.
We'll take
definitely
what we can get.
A sketchy move there from the Drow. But it doesn't really change that much unless they try to go high ground here. Knowing Wolf Team, that's the galaxy brain play from NoPing. They both pop BKBs for no reason to bait Wolf Team into a high ground. Feels like it worked. Oh, so, alright. I'm ready.
But look at this. 40 odds coming in with a full 9-second BKB here. This is a dangerous fight for NoPing. Zip in, 40 odd. Not going to activate the BKB just yet. Hasn't been gripped either. HFN just plucked on the high ground. Throwing in right clicks, trying to do as much damage as possible. They'll wait for this next wave or they'll just back off entirely. They're not feeling super comfortable about this. Although HFN has picked up the Silver Edge, so they have some additional damage output, it's still not safe enough. And they're playing with a lot more discipline. You were talking about it, how this is a team known for winning games by a lack of discipline and pushing up the hill. We almost saw it happening down bottom. Unfortunately, this time around, they'll be like, let's back off. Wait, what do I mean, fortunately? I want game 3. Go back, boys. Go feed. Go feed. What's happening?
Yeah, I think they're just... I don't think there's a single aspect of a Dota game that Wolf Team is playing worse than they did in the last series. Everything, like, their lane is looking crisp, their drafts are overall pretty good. As you said, they are, they poke high ground, they don't necessarily commit, they go back. Sure, there were a couple of fits here and there, but the win condition was not affected by any means. And they're just doing a really good job, controlling the maps, choking NoPing. Look, everyone is in the base. And you don't have a Terrorblade this time. This draw is forced to use multi-shot from Fog, but you always gotta be careful about the relocate. Even this play that he did right now could be really risky because there's no supports behind Melancholy. Obviously, Wolf Team is not sure, but they could try, and she could definitely feed there if she was not careful. Or be forced to pop BKB once again and just have this BKB as a means to, farm one wave and then stand in the base.
Oh, They're being corralled inside the base with no movement outside of it. A 15k net worth lead in favor of both team. I'm gonna try to go for a kill out to Tabo. They will commit the Fiend's Grip here. Relocate will come in. 40R jumping in here. They do manage to bring down Duster. Sexy Fat and Suze though want to try and find immediate revenge onto KJ. Will they be able to do so? Indeed they do. But this might cost more than they're prepared to pay as Tabo goes in. Huge arena to catch out Suze. That's one, a dead Ember Spirit. Melancholy, can he get out? He does, just barely. 40R though will jump forward, finding Sexy Fat. He knows there's no more magic immunity, there's no more roll up, there's no more rolling thunder. The multi-shot from Melancholy will force them back, and Audio as well, committing the demonic purge onto King RD. It's enough to actually bring out a buyback from Suits as he goes in to bring down King RD. Will they be able to get more out of this is the question. A buyback coming in from the Ogre, the Silver Edge utilized by the Medusa. She does get dusted up almost immediately afterwards, but it's a little bit too late. NoPing caught off guard in that one. There's a buyback from the Ogre, but Wolf team still happy to have claimed the tier 3. And now they know that all they need is a solitary teamfight win here, Bowie, and they're going to go back on the higher ground to take a full lane of racks.
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird. They got a full duration Fiend's Grip there with Duster, and their draft just doesn't have damage. Like, the draw is forced to play away from everyone else. The Ember commits early with the BKB, but it's already a 6-second duration BKB. Doesn't even spell like Suits, you know, we used it once for a fight before this. And because of that, they don't have like a hero that soaks damage. They don't have a Tidehunter, they don't have a Centaur. It's the mid hero that usually is the one that provides damage, soaking the damage and having to do the damage. It's just way too many roles for Suits to accomplish. And this Pangolier, I just don't feel the impact, dude. It's supposed to, you know, disarm the Dusa, but he doesn't even have the chance to use the spell, because if he's not rolling, he just dies.
Yep. Immediately he just dies. Like, it's very, very fast. They've taken the Roche now, second one of the game. Very scary Aghanim shot given away to Tabo here. Given how good he's been with the placement of these spears, the fact that you can now inhale 2 targets, he'll get it. He actually almost had it last time around onto Melancholy and Sooth. It's just Sooth got caught first. And now with the positioning of this Aegis and the confidence it's given them, Wolf team are back. NoPing, can they stop this from happening? They've taken away the range racks already. Big jump in from 40R, looking for Audio, has the BKB at the ready. They're just buying space and time here, but 40R gets gripped in between 4 heroes and will die all alone without buyback. Now the rest of the team gonna be forced back, because look at this damage they're dishing out onto the Dusa. KJ can't actually get the Dusa out right now. Gonna try and heal him up with the tether, but the first life gets taken away. Will there be a relocate save available? Sue's trying to make sure it doesn't happen. They've gotten these kills onto the Ayo as well as the Storm Spirit. Now they also managed to eliminate the Ogre. HFN throughout the Stone Gaze will find himself getting disrupted up by Audio. Audio does die. These illusions will stay behind to try to dish out some damage. Zeus did root up this Medusa, and HFN left all alone, but can NoPing actually take this Medusa even if she's all alone? She's throwing out these right clicks, has the Silver Edge in a moment, sitting right underneath the Sentry Ward though, and HFN tried his best, but even he cannot fight all of this, and he ends up losing his life here, giving away a ton of gold in the process. And HFN, the Wolf team lineup, it's almost like you've seen this movie before, Bowie. The deep dive from 40R goes south, the rest of the team dies, and the high ground push fails. Wolf team have been repelled once more, and NoPing keep the game going.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot sugarcoat this. It is, that play is unacceptable. Like, you have Aegis, you have a Dusa where the barracks are exposed. The Storm just needs to counter-initiate. All the Dusa has to do is hit the barracks, and once they jump the Dusa, you go in. He jumped like halfway across the base. He was totally isolated, didn't have buyback, didn't have Lincoln, so he was bound to get Fiend's Gripped, and I've seen Wolf team lose games that were just as this one, so let's see if what happens. Ember, okay, no buyback on him, but this could be huge.
Absolutely no buyback. Unfortunately for them, Medusa is still in the grave for another 25 seconds without buyback herself. But now Sooth sees it.
Wait, I lied. Wait, did I lie? No, yeah, he doesn't have that, sorry.
He used it, remember he used it on that other fight, where he died and he had to buy back a couple minutes
Yeah,
ago.
I thought the timer was gone and he only needed gold, but yeah, no, I was lying.
Still so much time to go here until the Storm Spirit returns. Can they hold for another 80 seconds? They need to get this Medusa to the fight ASAP. Fortunately, they have this outpost, so she comes in with the express journey. All right, 40R, it's on you, buddy. what you gonna do for us again? Entertain us, 40. You've been very fun to watch this game. Maybe not fun to play with on your team, but very fun to watch generally. So we'll see if he makes a deep dive. But looks like HFN not interested in trying to make any fight happen. He's like, boys, we are just here for the racks. We're gonna take them and back off. Indeed, that's what he's doing right now. First lane of racks taken away. Wolf team looking like they're gonna slowly but surely turn the 17k gold lead into an actual advantage on the map. But NoPing are waiting to try and fight this. Melancholy, nice usage of the Hurricane fight to get away from the arena. Unfortunately, Sexy Fat doesn't have that option. The Nightmare save, followed up by the Disruption save. You were mentioning it there, both only half saves. At the end of the day, neither of them will be efficient. And the Pango will end up losing his life. Dead in the ground, no buyback. So for the next 25 seconds, at the very least, they are going to be playing this one 5v3 Bowie. And it's certain that they get at least 2 lanes of racks, maybe even look for the Megas.
Yeah, they really don't need to do anything but hit the towers. Like, there's not enough harass on the draw by herself. I mean, she's annoying and everything, but this... Oh, 4DR. Oh, God. Okay.
Increasing our blood pressure as Suits decreasing the blood pressure of King RT because there's nothing pumping when you're dead. Very nice kill to happen there, coming in from the Ember Spirit off the respawn. Good control there. I mean, his presence to understand where exactly to go to find the kill. Good presence of mind, allows him to keep the game going. There's not going to be Megas. They also buy time for Sexy Fat to come back. However, they lost the tier 3 here, Bowie. So by the time Ogre comes back, NoPing need to prepare themselves for this last fight. Especially if by the time the next push happens, they have an Aegis on Wolf team, then it's definitely going to be Megas. So they need to get that next Aegis, come hell or high water. No matter what, they cannot allow it to go into the hands of the Deucer once more. Let's see here. Melancholy building into the Eye of Skadi now after having BKB, Manta, Hurricane Pike. We already have Ags being complete for Suits. I'm seeing that he's going in for this Refresher here afterwards. I like Refresher, but the only problem I'm going to have with it is I don't think he has enough mana to actually use it at this point in time to do like all the spells that he has to pop in the middle of these fights.
Yeah, I guess the Io can help with that, right? Yeah, as long as he's tethered by the Io.
I mean the Ember on the other side.
Oh, okay. I thought I was talking about the Refresher on Mars. Sorry.
Tabos.
Yeah. Especially after the nerfs to the Remnant, it's definitely like the Refresher is definitely not as impactful as it was, because you triple the freaking mana cost on that.
It's kind of crazy. We'll see if he can make it work. Right now, 40R making this big jump. Duster will be there immediately, but here we go. Arena onto 2. Sexy Fat caught in with Duster. Duster trying to save him, but both of them are doomed to die. In the meantime, Suits gets off the BKB. Not going to be brought down just yet. Dieback coming in from Duster. And HFN almost actually killed him from the low ground. My God, that was so much damage. HFN now, they know that there's no Pangolier for another 55 seconds. And look at the discipline. They're not even going to go in through the base. They instead take the long wraparound to ensure that there's not going to be any surprises here. Melancholy, you mentioned it, just lacks the overall harass necessary. As HFN looking to bring down the range racks. The Illusions doing good work. Suits clearing out these waves, trying to institute some backdoor protection. They have it for now, but they're just holding on here, Bowie. These are not proactive plays. They're reacting entirely. Wolf team is dictating everything that happens right now.
Yeah, looks like they will be able to force. I really like this, actually. They wait a little bit so that the timer on the buyback of the Pango is really bad, right? You're about to respawn, but you're still forced to buyback anyways. I'm very impressed with Wolf team, dude. I think... Sure, they had a couple of hiccups here and there, which is expected when you're playing against the best team in Division 2 right now, which is NoPing. But overall, I mean, it felt kind of like they didn't really click in the first series. This one is looking really good. Maybe they just scrimmed a lot against NoPing. Maybe they know more about NoPing than they did against the opponents that they played. Yeah. Regardless of what's happening, it's a breath of fresh air, right? It means that the Division 2 is way more competitive than some people thought.
Yep. All of us were very worried about what Wolf team would present to us this season, especially after what happened last time around. But they're holding it down, showing that the names on the roster aren't just names that perform on different squads. They can actually make a team together. Right now, I'm looking at this IO, not that far away, I mean, in comparative terms, towards getting a Heart of Tarask for himself. That will just be survival central for HFN. They'll never die again. I mean, it's very difficult to kill HFN anyway. He's also gone in for the Swift Blink here. What do you make of this? Is the idea with this to get forward with the Stone Gaze so he can get in front of Drow? We'll talk about it in a second. As Tavos find some heroes to fight against. Does the opponent side of the arena forced off in from HFN, ensuring that the Stone Gaze will connect. 40R looking for a more entertaining play. Will not find it just yet. Duster is going to be the lone casualty of this fray so far. Does die very far away from the bottom lane, so it's not easy for Wolf team to just walk on in to the racks, and there's no Roshan to claim, so in the grand scheme of things, it's just going to be a kill that doesn't change all that much. It's still a 20k 8 gold lead. It's still 25 to 17. It's still 2 lanes of racks that NoPing has to deal with, but at the very least, the game keeps going.
Yeah, answering your question about the Swift Blink, it's kind of a good item on Dusa because she's super sluggish and you farm so fast that you have to give away your boots very early. You know, spider legs, they're a shadow of the OP item they used to be. So having that to move a little bit faster around the map, farm a little bit faster, but also to be able to assist because they have really mobile heroes with the Io, the Mars with Blink and Storm. So the arena doesn't matter if the Medusa is not there to hit, right? And the Blink allows HFN to always be in the vicinity and actually provide damage at the same time.
Speaking of arena, I'm seeing some of these neutral items that just got picked up by Wolf team. We have some very good ones, of course, but I'm very surprised that they haven't decided to give this Trickster Cloak towards Tabo. I mean, his BKB time is already down to the 6-second mark. Wait, to be fair, he does have Refresher though, so double BKB is better. And Penta Edge Sword, should Medusa take it? Like you mentioned, she needs the mobility. This is how you know a team is very far ahead. When you get legitimately great neutral items and you're like, meh, the way we're playing right now, we're Gucci fam. Who needs it? It's fine. Meantime, those draw ranges.
I think what you do is you probably get the sword when you're hitting, when you're actually like hitting barracks, and you usually just keep the spider legs for normal day-to-day use, right? Because when you're farming, when you're moving around the map, having the spider legs is going to be more useful. So you kind of swap between them. But some carry players, I don't want to use the word lazy, but you do see some carry players being like super 5D chess about their neutral items, and some carry players are like, I mean, sure, whatever, I'll just keep the spider legs, they're great. No, there's no right and wrong about that, I think, because you know, you have to use brain power to use that, and sometimes that brain power could be directed towards something else, and I don't know. I think Dota, there are some things that are right and wrong, some things are debatable for sure.
You either go the Skeeter carry route, you know, where you just play solidly throughout the game, not too many amazing surprises, or you do the eternal everything of trying to find head the entire game. Speaking of find head play, they're trying to go in and bring down this booster. She does acquire Starvation for now. In the meantime, Tabo jumps the backline to create space. There was a short relocate back by KJ. Sexy Fat now finding himself isolated very far from the rest of his team. However, because Tabo had to go forward alone, they do end up getting the kill onto that Mars hero. KJ tethered out to safety. Sexy Fat, looks like that initiation that they made ends up being worthwhile for them. They've stopped Wolf team from this, and Suits also catching up to the Ogre Magi. King RD will die as well. Okay, I see you, NoPing. I see you. The game's still going here, Bowie. They defend. Not even the range Rax is dead. It looks like they're gonna hold on to this until their dying breaths.
Yeah, like the real winner of that fight was HFN himself. The disruption from the Shadow Demon just did so much damage to HFN, and he was controlled the whole time, so he couldn't clear the illusions that were created. That was really funny. Like, he lost like 30% of his HP because of the Shadow Demon W. Oh, okay, they're going aggressive here. I'm not sure about this.
Is coming out. Melancholy gets very far forward. Oh no. Audio is going to get picked off now as well. That was a Stone Gaze utilized by Dusa, but hashtag word. Audio, there's no escape for you, my friend. Duster gets to TP out, but there's no buyback for this draw range. And yet again, we see these illusions. Do so much work. They relocate forward, though. They were looking for somebody else to pick off here, but unfortunately for them, Sexy Fat had already made his way back in towards the base. But Melancholy doing his best impression of 40R, jumps onto the high ground, no vision, into multiple enemy heroes, dies without buyback here. Bowie, they might look back and think that this was actually the play that ended the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough. Like, you're in this position where you really need to take risks or you're never going to win this game. But it was hasty, the way that they approached. They never really laid out any vision before they went up the ramp. So lots of little things that are really hard to be done all at the same time when you're under this much pressure. But that's why, you know, you end up fighting HFN instead of any other heroes. You're also playing against so much reach and gap close. I don't blame the fact that they play aggressive, but the way they went about it was not crisp, and they got punished heavily, which happens when you're 40k gold behind, right?
It does look like both team is going to respect them. They've been bitten too many times by these plays with buybacks happening just at the very end there. 10 seconds until draw returns. Here's a Rolling Thunder again from Sexy Fat. Once more, Audio has gotten some very strong illusions. Half the HP gone from the Deucer. KJ does come in. Has a Heart of Tarrasque as well. Between this and the Holy Locket, 0% chance that Deucer will not get back up to 4 from this. Now she blinks in. There's no more Rolling Thunder. 40R dumping in and out. Who will he be able to isolate here? They're looking instead for Duster. The Stone Gaze will help to kill Duster. Right clicks from HFN. Threatening Suits here, even through the BKB. Needs to be careful, my friend. Zips in though, looking for King RD. Will be able to find him. Melancholy back to life, back to fighting. Throwing in these right clicks as Tabo though, preventing all this damage from coming in with the Bulwark, blocking these arrows from the Drow Ranger, enabling his team to take the Megas. And now that the BKB from Melancholy has finished, they enable him to take the life of the Drow as well. HFN is right-clicking absolutely everyone and everything. Gets a double kill, gets a Rax kill, gets a game win as NoPing called GG. And we witnessed the side of Wolf Team claiming themselves a 2-0 victory, keeping the Division 1 dream alive, and showing us that there is still competition here in Division 2 of the South American DPC.
Yeah, as Brazilians would say, o sonho é real, the dream is real. I'm actually absolutely flabbergasted. It's not only that Wolf Team beats NoPing 2-0, but how they did it, you know, with two totally different strats, with like very much a total different playstyle. Like they were so cohesive, they were very cautious with the way that they played. Like tons of times I could see the old NoPing just trying to brute force stuff that they did not. So kudos to them. I think this is amazing. Not only for the region, but because we might have some tiebreakers, we will have some angry tweets. I can predict a lot of drama incoming because, you know, I follow lots of Brazilians and everyone was saying that NoPing was going to win this. And it's not only that they lose, but how they did it, dude. That's a very convincing win.
Yep, very convincing. And like you mentioned, not just convincing across one game, but across both of them. Didn't really seem like NoPing. It also really felt like NoPing were not expecting Wolf Team to be this good. I feel like if they had known that Wolf Team was going to be playing at this level, things might have looked a little bit different. But unfortunately, they could not have seen it coming. We didn't see it coming, but we are happy to be a part of this as Wolf Team grab and secure themselves a 2-0, keep the Division 1 hope alive. For NoPing, though, after a loss like this, I'll be honest and say I'm worried about them overall as a team. One thing I did like, though, I will say their ability to hold on the high ground, they did it well in excess of what should have been possible here. In my opinion here, Bowie, I don't know if you agree. This game could easily have been over at 35 minutes, but they kept it going way longer. So sometimes I feel like it's good for a team to be able to demonstrate that they can do that. Even if they fail ultimately, it's good to know that we don't crumble when that pressure is facing us in that way.
For sure, I totally agree. And at the same time, I feel like that is the reason they lost is that their draft was maybe geared too much about defending high ground. I think in both games, in different ways, they have these heroes that, you know, you have Drow just spamming from the high ground. You have this SD ready to get a Deuce illusion, which is scary for sure. But eventually you're 40k gold ahead, right? And things like don't work the same way as they do with normal Dota games. Still, I think like NoPing should have a good season as long as they don't get these laws just go over their head. I still feel like, you know, they have very talented players, but nicely done by Wolf Team. Really convincing win, and this still gives them the chance to qualify to Division 1 if they keep playing at this level.
That's what it's all about. Qualification towards Division 1. Division 2 is great and all. We love the Dota that we see here, but all of these players, you don't become a Dota player professionally if you lack ambition. So you're trying to get to the very top of the mountain. And right now, Wolf Team, they've kept that dream alive. More than 2 losses, they'd be out. But with 2 losses and now 2 wins, things are starting to look a lot better, especially considering that there's matches that they have left are against teams that are honestly, from what we've seen here today, they should be able to win those games against Interitus, against Ravens. The Dreamers one will be the bit of an iffy one, and that one could actually spark here, Bowie, the complications you're talking about, the massive tiebreakers, the salt in the scene, which we would love to see. But now that we are done with today's series, unfortunately, y'all, we are going to be closing it out in Division 2, that is. In Division 2. There is still more Dota to come this evening. The rest of the Dota will be coming from the Division 1 side. In about an hour, we'll be seeing the side of Balrogs take on the big boys of Thunder Awaken. Fortunately for y'all, the man with the wisdom, Bowie, will be there to drop the heat there as well. So make sure that you stay tuned right here on the channel at Epulze Gaming for the game to start very, very shortly. Well, shortly, not like an hour or so. So go take a break, go walk around, go grab some water. Before we close this one out though, Bowie, where can the lovely people find you if they want to hear your wisdom even outside of the game of Dota?
At D2Bowie on Twitter, which is pretty much where I am most of the time. So make sure to follow me there. And I mean, thank you for having me there. It was a pleasure. I'm kind of bummed out this was not a 3-game series, but still, it was very entertaining, man.
This was very entertaining, and thank you for having me. Every single time I'm with you on the mic, I know I'm being hard carried, man. You're the HFN of this broadcast. What a G. I'm the 40R jumping in.
Give me a break, Mr. China host. Come on, dude.
Don't tell the
we
people.
know who's carrying who here.
Fortunately, just like the game of Dota, the casting itself is a team affair, and we worked to bring you the hype, to bring you the action. Hopefully, we get to do more of this down the line, but for now, we will be closing this one out. Make sure to go follow Bowie at D2Bowie. Follow Epulze Gaming at Epulze Gaming, and you can follow me as well at Snare on Twitter. We are signing out with that soon-to-come Division 1 action. For now, we celebrate the amazing performance from Wolf Team. We celebrate the competition level in Division 2 of the South American DPC, and we celebrate the fact that Dota 2 ain't dead, Dota 2 is thriving, and we'll be here from here until forever to bring you the hype, to bring you the action, to bring you all the Dota 2 madness. Until then, till an hour from now, we'll see you then. We'll be back then. Bye! We love y'all, and peace out.